Welcome to the Windy City Podcast presented by Fansided. You know that man right there. That is Alex Shapiro. I am Kenneth Davis, and we're going to talk everything Bears, but we're going to start off with the fact that the Bears are 1-1 versus the AFC North so far this preseason.
Wow!
With a 34-10 victory versus the Browns. Listen, you say that, but these are some teams. You think about the game against the Bengals last year, and then you think about the Browns debacle that have taken place here. Let's put, regardless how bad the Browns are. And I think we were talking. I don't know. It wasn't you. I think it was Athena. I was trying to express to her because one of her girlfriends is a Browns fan. And I was like, that's really messed up. Because like we're tough. Bears fans, but that's worry worse than Bears fans, right? So it's like whatever. But again, against the AFC North, 1-1. But then last night versus the Bengals, 27-9 in that L they took versus the Bengals. Definitely some good things. There's a lot of players that were out. You did see a little bit of the offense at the beginning of the game. You saw Rome make a play. You saw Colston Loveland out there playing well. Roschon Johnson looked good as far as game speed. Like he looked faster than he did his rookie season because I really didn't see him that much last season. And there's some other guys we're going to talk about that may not be starters, but always stick out to us. That's what preseason is about, getting a taste of the depth or guys that may be on the streets that are rescued due to their production during the preseason. Alex, how you doing, my guy?
I'm wonderful. Had a wonderful weekend. Summertime shy. Like I feel like we're just in prime summertime shy right now, where it's not like you're walking on the sun. The cicadas are humming. I'm a big fan of the cicadas. The cicadas are rocking and rolling right now. Went to Taco Fest with my son. My son had his first carne asada taco, and he loved it.
You didn't even invite me. You didn't invite me to Taco Fest.
You know what? I messed up. I'm sorry. Next time we're going to Taco Fest, I'm reaching out.
I think you know my desire and love for Mexican food. And
next time.
That's wow.
Dude, we eat Mexican food all the time. Next time we're eating Mexican food, you're getting a text. That's a guarantee.
Wow. Just do me wrong. So
I'm sorry.
What was the best?
It was a great weekend. It was a great weekend until I realized I slighted you, and now it's not as great. So we didn't. Here's the thing: you get price gouged at these street fests. You know, you're paying through the teeth for tacos, but it's like part of the thing. Whatever you go see the wrestling, you go see the cover bands, you go overpay on a taco. So we only got 2 tacos, and instead of when we do these street fests, we're usually doing like the weird, like the Indian fusion or the deep fried, whatever. Like we're getting deep into it. And love those, always great. But this time we're just like, you know what? We're just getting the most legit, like street looking taco where I just want 2 corn tortillas. I want the meat. I want onion. I want cilantro, and I want a little table with a bunch of different sauces on it. And that's it. That's it. If they are serving anything other than onion and cilantro on those tacos, we're out. And we found that taco stand, and they were dynamite. Yeah. They were, might I say, fuego. They were fuego, dude.
I think we've talked about this, and this is how I know you know my desire for, because it hasn't been that long that we talked about this. Because I don't know if you mentioned the Taco Bell or a Chipotle within the last month, and I shooed you away with one thing that's great about Chicago is our Mexican population and why. Yeah. And listen, I'm just talking about cooking Mexican food. You go in most of these kitchens, they are the chefs and cooks back there with all that they are cooking well. No, like it's just no. Blessed be that they're here in general for what they want to be here for, and the trains bringing the jobs and all that. But the food and the culture, the art, all that. No, I don't. I don't disrespect my Mexican brother and sisters by going, even though they're working at Chipotle.
Hey man, there's a time and a place for Taco Bell.
No, actually, it's not.
It's 4 a.m.
When you reach a certain age, you're like, hell no. All right, it's hell no. All right. Enough of the violent bowel issues.
Enough diarrhea parasite talk. Brought to you by Taco Bell.
Back to the 27-9 loss. It's preseason, Alex. The Bengals, really, their starters weren't even out there, particularly on offense. But they still, even with their starters out there, they still represent it. You can see by the score. The Bears, what were your thoughts on the Bears offensively in that game last night?
I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm not reading too much into anything that happens in the preseason. These teams are not game planning. They are doing extremely vanilla concepts, both offensively, both offensively and defensively.
Mm-hmm.
And what I appreciate is you got Caleb Williams out there, you got some starters out there, and you let them play football for a little bit, and they all got out safely. Right? Caleb Williams left that game healthy. Roma Dunze left that game healthy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that is the most important thing, because this is just about, okay, yeah, practice is great and practice is all that, but there's no replacement for the live thing, for real football. Football is football, right? We talk about it in terms of practice, right? The mental reps are not reps. And reps on the practice field are not game reps. So they got some game reps. He was in the huddle, calling plays for real, taking the snap for real, running plays with guys actually rushing the passer. He felt that. He got back in that flow, and then they got out. I don't care that he was 2 for 5 or whatever. Seeing the completion of Rome, great. Don't really care. Not a big deal. I think it's important that they, get back in the swing of things operationally, and we'll see how they continue to ramp up here. I think that's also going to be interesting, how they continue to ramp up. So performance-wise, like we can get more in the weeds performance-wise later, and some things that I actually did like. But in terms of just like Caleb Williams, the offense, the defense, et cetera, it's like, man, they did the thing. They did the thing, and that's great.
I'll be Mr. Positive, which is usually your forte. But it hasn't been since you've left NBC and CHSN. You know what? I think the thing that I want to headline this with that stood out to me is another year under these two offensive and defensive minded. So head coach, offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, defensive coordinator, Dennis Allen. Caleb, and everything you say is true, but Caleb's didn't play around. The ball got out. Like even on design plays where they got the quarterback out to give him a better view and to give him one side of the football, you still the field rather. You still saw how quickly he didn't play when he got that ball to Rome. You know what I'm saying right there. Like a lot of that, there was a lot of 1, 2, 3. If it happened well or not, if it got batted down or not. But he didn't play a lot of the hero stuff. And even last year, where they were early in this, the offense wasn't clicking like that. He wasn't getting rid of the ball quick enough. There was much more miscommunication. You didn't see the penalties weren't quarterback-driven penalties. It was Braxton doing what a Braxton may do. You know what I'm saying? Like it was more of that type of issue. So that made me feel good to see. You can see the improvement with the structured football. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'll say this. We have to see when the starters are out there and wins and losses are really on the line, does Caleb stick to that? And sometimes you don't want him to, but majority of the times you do. You know what I'm saying? So that The way that he walks that line will be important, but to see that it's transitioning to he knows I have to play on script majority of the time, win or lose. And one of the things that stuck out to me was the slight overthrow to Colston Loveland. And the thought that crossed my mind was with all these targets that the Bears have, and they have to improve and get used to the amount of targets they're going to get, because they're going to get more with DJ being gone and them all being moved up on the depth chart as far as where they're going to wait as far as target 1, 2, and 3, and how that can change depending on the team that they're going up against. It was still good to see. My thought was when Colston, I don't know if it was more Colston or Caleb or a mixture, a myriad of both, but like, man, at every second, there's a risk of the Bears hitting you with chunk gains, where last year, that was more of a fourth quarter thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That was, and again, it was a miss, but it was more of a miss, like a slight overthrow than like, oh damn, he's consistently doing this. You know what I'm saying? He's inaccurate. Last year, it was, did the receiver? No, it was one, Caleb wasn't accurate. Then it was, did the receiver run a better route, where this just looked like they didn't connect on this one.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and that to me, and it's early, but to me it stood out just like, okay, what we've been saying and thinking, that this offense is going to be able to score, I don't want to say at will, but often on you. And I in any given sport, that's fearful if, one, you're usually not a team that can stop somebody, but even if you are, and it's like, damn, here they go, that can be demoralizing. And that's, again, and this is, I'm taking a lot, but I'm taking what happened last year into this situation too. This is one of the best teams in the NFC. This is one of the top 5 scoring teams within the NFL. They averaged almost 26 points a game. That was year 1, and that was with an inconsistent offense.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. That they were lost at sea in that first quarter of the season.
Yeah. So I mean, and looking at that, and again, in Ben we trust. It just that made me feel good. It seems like the coaching is working, and I'll say this too, and I'll get into it a little bit later. It seems like, and you should, the players are buying into what the coach desires just by how their bodies look. Like, we've seen some of these players for years. Now, I'll say this: some coaches ask different things from different players. All right,
right.
See Alex Brown. See every time the Bears guy, see what Dick Duran wanted compared to what Lovey wanted. Dick Duran wanted Alex Brown to put on weight. Lovey wanted Alex Brown to be fast. All right, so that does play a way, but usually in this team, and it's kind of what the Bears, in all fairness, what Matt Eberflus would want, or whoever he had being a coordinator.
Right.
Both of these two defenses want to play fast. You know what I'm saying? So with just looking at some of these linemen and the depth as far as muscle build, it just seems like guys have bought into it more. But you will too, because, look, the guys that brought you in aren't here anymore. So if you were here a year or two, and it's like, 2 years, and it's like, yo, the coach that wanted me ain't around, either I'm moving on or I better get mine on the right track.
Also, winning breeds that. Like, hey,
good point. Great point.
Like, it's one thing to be a hard ass, like Ben Johnson is, and be losing all the time. That gets old, man. That gets old. But when you're a hard ass and you're winning and you're seeing the results, and oh my God, we won the division in year 1, and think what the future could be. That creates buy-in in a hurry. That, hey, the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pudding here. Like, it's working. So yeah, I'm getting on board, and I'm going to start pulling the same rope here in the same direction. So winning cures everything. And I think we're absolutely seeing that buy-in. We saw that buy-in last year, but now it's like, okay, a full off season of that buy-in, a full off season of, I know exactly what the coaches want out of me. And as you said, right, the offseason, they didn't have that benefit over the offseason. Ben Johnson's just getting there. He's just putting his program in place. He's focusing on getting his coaches, his staff, and installing everything. Everything's installed now for the most part, right? And now you get to give these guys, hey, okay, here's exactly what you did that was great, and here's 3 things you got to work on, and we're sending this to you over the offseason, and come back ready to go. And they've had that benefit now.
And truer competition, that rather than here goes something. You see that with the third running back depth war between Salvon Ahmad and Roschon Johnson, and giving Roschon an opportunity to try to hold on to that job if him at risk of being cut. But also looking at a guy that you're like, hey, Salvon may be somebody that we can need. Again, speaking of speed, also, again, like I said, Roschon's playing speed seemed to improve, because I didn't see him last year as I did as much as his rookie season. I'm not saying it as a diss. I'm just saying it's a fact that you got into a lather of DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai, who is week to week after that injury by whatever the hell Grady Jarrett was thinking. Like, whoa.
Not a veteran move, Grady Jarrett. Not a veteran
move. Hey, Grady, what does he have on, Grady? Look down first. No? Okay. Look at yourself.
Dude,
what about this?
Look at
right. Did you like, whoa. whoa, we got ops out here. You can do that too. Just wait a second. All right.
Yeah, their joint practices are coming up quick.
That part. But yeah, I did like that. And then, like, we've said this at the aforementioned Braxton Jones and Iron Shopping Irons, and really having competition is good to see. And again, it's not as important as left tackle or starting position. So it does give you the opportunity to really give these guys a chance, because it's not like you have skin in the game. But yeah, it's just certain things when it comes to, and I think it piggybacks off of what you said, winning, because winning makes you desires for you to win more, particularly if you've been a losing roster team and franchise, and you get a taste of not just winning, but almost having a chance to make it to the NFC Championship game, and thinking about what would we have done if we got there. And if we think they were playing outside of their mind, what do you think they were thinking last year while you're going through it? You're talking spicy crazy, like, boy, we could do it, and as they should. I'm not even. It wasn't like it got to a point when we were on here and we we're like, yo, it's not crazy to say that they can make it to the Super Bowl, and it was not crazy. Listen, the only thing really is just, and it's funny. It'll get to it with a little betting later. The only thing that clearly was like, I don't know if they can make it, was that damn defense from the Seahawks. Outside of that,
crazy.
Yeah, and look, they could have had a bad game, but outside of that, it was nothing where you'd be like, hands down, they could not make it.
No, we were talking like, hey, they turn over Sam Darnold 3 times, anybody's game.
Dude.
And because they were the turnover kings. They were so good at that.
Yes. Let alone let them score some points, you know what I'm saying, on it. Now, they wouldn't have got any pressure, but at least they've still made it a passing game. Again, going to your turnover points with what the defensive backfield were doing, with the help, of course, Tremaine Edmonds while he was healthy.
It would have been interesting. We'll see what happens this year. The one thing that I do want to drill down on, now that we're in the weeds a little bit more, that I also liked, is seeing Jack Sanborn out there on special teams. When the Bears signed Jack Sanborn, to me, it was like, oh, great. They have a solid Sam and a break glass in case of emergency linebacker. And I kind of forgot about the special teams of it all. And remember last year, for half the season, maybe more, that special teams coverage unit, both punts and kicks, was awful, atrocious. And seeing Sanborn mix it up in special teams, to me, that was an immediate like, oh yeah, that's how this guy really helps this football team. And by the way, special teams remain important. It's an important phase of this game. It's not going anywhere. And they had a lot of room to grow last year. So, I mean, think of how many times Torrey Taylor had an up and down season last year, right? There were times when he was magnificent. There were times where he was crazy. He was punting the hell out of the ball and nobody was there. But if you get some guys like Sanborn back in there who can actually turn this negative into an even or even a positive, that's huge. So that was another like wake up moment. It seems so silly and so obvious in retrospect, but watching it and being like, oh yeah, these special teams guys, this should help this unit. So I will say that was encouraging to hear. And I know special teams is not sexy, but special teams is important.
It's sexy when you got those other faces either working and you got that one that's not working, or even if you got one that's working and 2 aren't necessarily working. But yeah, I mean, for instance, you mentioned Jack Sanborn, and I just think about football player and knows where the hell to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's his biggest strength is he knows where he's supposed to be. He makes sure that he overcomes any inefficiency that he has as far as his speed with being heady and getting there. And I'm with you. You need players like that, particularly depth players that can do more than one thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because it's particularly if, we got to have this many receivers that we're keeping on the team, right? The tight ends, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we're going to do DBs, because, keep some DBs around here, right? If you're keeping all those guys.
More on that in our next episode.
Offensive linemen, you know what I'm saying? You're going to need a guy that's a depth guy that can cover 2 things and cover up some spots as far as those rosters when they get cut down to 53. I'm trying to think. Another guy that is funny. I don't think we didn't think he was going to look good, but just looking at Sam Roush makes me think, and he's played well the last 2 weeks. What I wonder, in all fairness, I wonder with Ben Johnson, what's the player type that he wants his tight end room to look like? Is it they're all somewhat similar? Is it rugged? So, okay, put it like this. Is it, let's have a rugged traditional type of guy like Cole Kmet, even to a degree, Sam Roush kind of fits more in that Cole Kmet role or whatever. Let's have the guy that's more of the pass catching guy, and again, he's bigger. So I'm talking about like the old Dallas Clark for Indianapolis. But this guy, when I'm talking about coastal level, he's a bigger body. He should be able to inline block. A lot of those guys that are viewed as like Evan Ingram, type guys aren't guys that are stout necessarily, particularly at the early in their career when you're talking about taking on the end or whatever.
You got to double team. You got to chip a defensive end and then run your route. Oh, sorry. It's like, yeah, exactly. Right. When you got to like chip a
so then it makes me think. So it makes me think, all right, so do you want, is this what it should look like? 2 rugged guys that are the same and then one guy that's uber pass catchy, or is it rugged guy, 2 I just wondered what is his desire when he's running this and what the league is trending towards with the versatility and having these, particularly when you think about it. We've been a league, the NFL rather, has been a league where you're playing 2 linebackers instead of 3, right? You got little DBs out there, and all of these goddamn tight ends is at least 6'5", if not 6'6". You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an issue, let alone with what you can do. And it just makes me wonder what in his mastermind is it. This is what I want it to look when it's all said and done. But again, hey, did I want you to go tight end that early? No. Did I understand why you maniacal mind of offensive wizardry? Yes, I did. But also to see the fact that Sam Roush looks as if, given the chance, he will succeed with the limited amount of chances he may get. All right. To the head coach / general manager and whatever other hat that he's wearing at this time. I'm just playing. I know Ryan Post is general manager.
It does feel like 13 is a lock. There's going to be a lot of 13. That is a lock. Do you know what else is a lock, Kenneth Davis?
What's that?
My bookie offering their first lock of the season. It's back, and it is legitimately a lock. It's a no-brainer. So my bookie is offering for the Patriots Seattle Seahawks NFL kickoff game in Seattle. The wager is, will the Seahawks raise their championship banner that night? Feels like a lock, doesn't it?
Sounds like a lock.
Feels like the whole point. The whole point of the game is to get the shot of the banner going up, and then kickoff, and then play ball. So
yes.
So my bookie, it's the first lock of the year. They've done this before. They will have them throughout the season. And what's crazy about this first lock of the season, they are offering that wager. Will the Seahawks raise their championship banner at their home opener? You're getting that at plus money odds. So pretty much you're just getting paid to say, yes, the Seahawks will do the thing that everybody knows they're going to do. There's going to be more coming all season long. You definitely want to get in before kickoff. Sign up at MyBookie with our promo code DOWINDY. That's DAWINDY. DOWINDY. So go to MyBookie, promo code DOWINDY, and get in on that first lock of the season. Plus money for the Seahawks to raise their championship banner at their home opener. It's a no-brainer. I will be betting on that. I will be participating in that lock of the season. So again, MyBookie, promo code DOWINDY, DAWINDY. Bet on anything, anytime, anywhere. Must be 21 years or older, 18 or older in select jurisdictions. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net for free. Confidential support available 24/7. That's a lock. What else is a lock for you, Kenneth Davis? What else you got as a lock besides the Bears are playing in 13?
I was going to say, or 12. All right,
or
we
12.
May not get 3.
That's a lock.
Yeah. You and look, that's again when you're saying depth. Of course, initially, and it depends on the scheme too. Initially, you're thinking if they're in 12, 2 tight ends and one running back, you're thinking in one wide receiver, you're thinking, hey, it's going to be Commit, it's going to be Loveland. But depending on the opposing team's personnel, you don't know which way they want to go. Now, again, I would say 80 to 90% of the time, depending on who's injured, it will be that. But it gives you scheme versatility when you add Sam Roush in, if you think Sam Roush is a better matchup, depending on who you're going up against any week, or let alone what players does the team tend to have out, depending on what type of look that you're giving them. So that's just one of those things that I want to point out. Another thing that I want to talk about as far as what stood out to me, is there anything on offense else you want to talk about that stood out to you?
No, sir.
I want to say that, and I know he got beat a time, but I like the tenaciousness of Dante Manning. I do. And you know why? And again, you're going to need guys like that. And in the past, those guys didn't seem to have that go get them. And I mean, I'm talking about like, this is more during Matty Eberflus looking for backup, just giving a guy a cornerback position that was just on the street, or even Matt Nagy, where sometimes it was like, who the hell is this guy out here? And why are y'all giving him starter reps? And you either just drafted him or you just picked him up off of the streets. But Dante Manning, and you think about the importance of how those backup DBs were last year. Yeah. Again, I'm not saying he's going to be the turnover guy, but I just liked his effort in tackling. You know what I'm saying? Like, just the fact that he didn't quit, and how you can use that other hand rather than, if I miss with my first hand, oh, well, forget it. It's like, no, I'm going to grab this fool's ankles and make sure he doesn't necessarily get away from me. So I like that. Listen, I always have to give props until we don't have it anymore to our Africana. All right. Jordan Vandenberg, he keeps popping, man. All right. It's just the truth. There's some push. There's some Jordan Vandenberg sightings that I like to see. So those are just a few things that kind of stood out to me. I don't want to go too far into the rose-colored sunglasses effort, because also I'm talking about guys that I think are going to play.
It is the preseason.
These are guys that I think we're going to see playing, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
These are guys that we know. Sam Roush. I think Dante Manning may be next man up, if not the second to next man up, depending on the DB situation. Jordan Vandenberg, you're not giving up 2 7th-round picks to go get him with the bad D-line, to not think, yo, I think this guy can help us in a situation. We like his measurables. We like his RAS or whatever.
He'll be around.
Yeah.
Jordan Vandenberg will be around.
You got to keep Africana around anyway. Come on. You get a good one. It's like, we need a little good
one. Yeah. No, it was interesting. It's good to see, especially with the Tyreek Stevenson news, that he is now like week to week, and who knows what's up with week 1 for him. And this secondary just gets more and more and more and more banged up. Yeah, you're going to need guys like Dante Manning to step up. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to be Nashawn Wright, but at this point of the season last year, we were all like, this Nashawn Wright guy is kind of interesting.
Yep.
I kind of like what I'm seeing out of Nashawn Wright.
Yep.
Kind of liking what I'm seeing out of Jade Walker. Jade Walker's kind of interesting. And these guys, I mean, obviously Nashawn Wright was unbelievable, but Jade Walker also had enormous moments, especially at the end of the year. So I know I was kind of poo-pooing the preseason a little bit, and I do think that a lot of it, you shouldn't pay too much attention or shouldn't put too much weight into these things. But I mean, truth be told, a lot of these things do matter for guys like Dante Manning, for guys like Jade Walker, who earned a roster spot in the preseason and who ended up having unbelievably significant moments for the Bears last year.
All right. This is one I make fun of. I'm not going to get too deep in this. Dio Dangbo didn't look bad.
He's motivated, man. Motivated Dio.
I mean, there's a lot that hangs on him. So I have to see. And it's more of a Ryan Post putting him in a situation. But I have to see what he's going to be, and can he be 80% of the hype? You know what I'm saying? But, he didn't look bad. I mean, I think the guys like I said, I think the guys came back with buy-in when it comes to how the trainers and the coaches wanted their bodies to look this season.
100%.
I don't think it's the same that you usually hear or whatever. And it's not just being slim. There's the muscle that I'm looking at on guys, lean muscle mass that it looks like on these guys, rather than I'm just trying to go throw some weight on me. No, it looks like guys are like, so that, and I think the key thing is that you said, I think buy-in from winning helps Aiden in that a lot. So that just stood out to me.
Love it.
All right. You know what, everybody? We're gonna do an episode soon talking about just some of the injuries and our thoughts on some of the other things taking place outside of the game, and anything else we want to see before the season necessarily starts. Always appreciate you joining us here on the Windy City Podcast, presented by Fansided.